Testing. Good, we are. All right. I would like to call to order the City of Eureka Springs Cemetery Commission meeting. This is Monday, April the 21st, 4 p.m. in the City Auditorium. Have a roll call.
Brita Rekfa.
L.B. Wilson.
Matt Pancrase.
Wraitha Lawler.
And David Danvers. We have a quorum. You'll see attached in your packet here the meeting minutes, very detailed and well done from last month. Y'all would care to take a look? A few minutes to approve this.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the minutes as provided for Monday, March 17th, 2025.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. And the agenda that you see before us, we had a few things added last week, things carried over from last month. I think it's pretty thorough. Take a few minutes.
There are a couple items that are not here, but I think I can maybe cover those and have them discussed during my superintendent's report. Like, for instance, I have an application for employment, and also I don't think that's on the agenda.
It's not.
And then I also have an application for serving on the commission that I made copies for everyone to share with them about that.
Okay, that's good. And we've got the election piece coming up here. I think we'll introduce it at that point in time. Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
the
sir.
application? Yeah, okay. All right, any other comments? And we will go ahead in your superintendent's report then and include the piece you mentioned.
I'd like to make a motion, Mr. Chairman, that we approve the agenda as written.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye? Okay.
Aye.
Thank you. Unanimous. Would like to welcome the public who took the time to show up tonight, and those that are watching on TV, YouTube. Want to make sure you all are welcome here anytime. We meet the third Monday of the month here at the auditorium at 4 p.m. Are there anybody you have 3 minutes? Okay. I don't think so, so I think we'll move on past this one. Let's move into the reports. Head groundskeeper.
Okay, I provided you with 414 through 419 from Nathan in the packet that I provided you guys. You can look over that at your leisure. And then, let's see, additionally, in that packet, see if I can find it. Well, okay. Is a Sexton's Notes page. It's just right behind the superintendent's log. I've got that provided for you along with the superintendent's monthly report regarding work schedules and expenditures that were made, okay? If you would try to find that sheet that says Superintendent's Notes, it's right behind those first two. In January, we spent $130.42. February, there were no expenditures. March, $606.42. And in April, as of the 20th, there was $1,081.01 spent. We have a maintenance and hardware balance of $10,682.15, okay? If you look down here on project information, the signpost project to date expenses is $12,618.40. Cemetery truck expenses to date is $2,817.18. Any questions about those two? If we dedicate, and that brings us to like that 15, 4, 35, 58. If we dedicate in the new budget thing we're going to consider later on $464.42. We end up with right at $6,600 of unpledged or identified funds. And in the new budget thing that we're going to be looking at later, we added, I would like you all to consider adding the mileage for the sextant, which we didn't have in the budget, and then an expansion program or an extension project of $6,000. And then that makes us still balanced. It doesn't change any, it doesn't make us indicate any more expenses or less. It just balances our budget, but it gives us those two areas that can be identified. Down on 2025 projects, the signpost, and Matt did a wonderful job on that. There may be some discussion later on about additional signs on some of them or something, but my goodness, I've heard several compliments about the way it looks.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it looks
Yep.
beautiful.
We're going to give big-time kudos to Matt.
On headstone cleaning, you'll notice the two asterisks you look down below. In this past month, we have cleaned all of the historical tour site headstones,
Thank you.
power washed them, plus all of them, at least to the best of my knowledge, in all of those blocks that are listed. That's quite a bit.
It looks wonderful.
It
A lot of the
does.
old white marble-like things that were green,
They
the place
pop.
looks a lot better.
Whew.
Okay, and then plantings. We've planted a total of 5 dogwood trees this month. They've been filling grays, and if you go down where 10, I think it is, or 11, or maybe it's 11 and 48, there's a bunch of plots down through there that are just barren. They don't look very good. They're just dirt. And the reason they are is because after 2 or 3 years of not having any pine needles on them, now they're suitable for planting. So we're putting grass in there and putting hay on top of them to try to, and it'll increase our maintenance effort, but it'll make it look a little bit better. Some of the graves we're going to consider putting white gravel over as well in different locations.
May I make a comment, LB? Yeah, to those that will be watching online and those of you that are here in the audience, we want to encourage you to come out and see this beautification project, because seriously, I don't think the cemetery's ever been better looking. And this new area that you're talking about now, raking up those pine needles, getting that the seed in there, lightly dusted with the pine, straw, hay bale straw, whatever, in those areas. It's going to be beautiful. So come out. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to have to replant the flagpole area again. And I looked up the information that Ms. Britta had sent about the native plants and so forth, and we're going to consider those, of course. But we'll hopefully get that flagpole area replanted before Decoration Day. We're also working on repairing misaligned borders, and there's so many of them in the cemetery. Don't expect to see a significant improvement for a while. Current issues, I've got a lady that's requested a permanent fixture headstone. It's a rock, and she hasn't indicated what kind of base she expects it to go on. So that's kind of pending. We're having I go to the cemetery at least 3 times a week around after dark to make sure the entrance light is on and the gate's closed. We keep having a breaker break, and we're going to have to address that. If the light comes on every time, we're okay. But if the light's not on and it's just the gate closed, we've got blue reflectors out there now, so that's going to help some, but it may not keep it from a collision from happening anyway. So that's something that hiring a part-time employee later on, we'll talk maybe about that. Have one application for y'all to consider. Water usage. This was brought to my attention on Friday, that we normally use around 8,000 gallons at times when it's hot, I don't know how we can use 8,000 gallons of water. There's water pressure at the workshop. there's no water pressure in our office to speak of, never has been. So there's possibly a leak between that hydrant and the office, a little leak that affects pressure and just constantly pushing water out. I think that's something we're going to have to try to look into, because there's no how could we use 8,000 gallons on one toilet and we water probably at the most once a week?
Well, we got the phone call, and that 8,100 gallons was in August of last year, and this was 9,936 gallons last month. That's right at 10,000.
Well, let me ask you a question. How many gallons were being used before that office building was built?
Well, okay, so this is the point.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get, we need to keep track of line item expenditures so that we know fluctuations and can address it. It's never been addressed, Matt. Until I saw the report that David provided last week, I didn't know what an electric bill was, what the amount was. Sometimes people give you the same bill if you're a business or if you're like us, because they don't read them.
Yeah.
That happens.
But Matt, they can give us that real easy up there, and that's a great
Yeah,
thought.
because the building's not that old, and I
I'm
would
going to
say,
ask them
you
for
know,
the last 3 or 4 years.
yeah, if it's gone up
Buildings-
500 gallons since we built the building, that would seem reasonable. If it's gone from 1,000 gallons to 9,000 gallons,
Exactly.
then I would think, okay,
Last
maybe there
month,
is a leak.
yeah, I think she said last month was like, or February, of course, it's cold and all of that, like 3,600 or.
Really?
Oh,
I
that's
can't-
crazy.
Well, it's something we
Yeah.
need to check into, because we don't want to waste water.
Okay. Will you
Period.
make a note that, well, do we need a motion
And then the
on
last
this
thing I
or
have
what?
on that is,
Well, this is on his report.
last year, we had a bid to repair, for road repair. The bid was for 525 feet.
Wait, can I stop you for a
Yeah,
second?
but just-
Well, wait a minute, because I want to back up. Do we need a motion to make a note to look into these bills for any reason, or is this just an action item?
Well, these are things that I can deal with for us if you all would allow me to. I will like get a plumber if we have to come out there, someone that we'll try to witch it first, but we'll try to get someone to come out and look into it.
I'll make a motion that LB do what's necessary to take care of the water situation,
Yeah,
at least exploring what's going on.
yeah. Give us
Before
the
we
history.
were to dig or,
Yeah. Yeah.
it would have to come back to the commission.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Okay, you have a second on that?
Second it.
Okay, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Sorry to interrupt. That's
just-
important. Let's keep going, LB.
Just real quick on this road repair, I have a new bid for 1,400 and some odd feet, and it's less than the old bid. And so we'll talk about that a little bit later, but I was really excited. The guy that's interested in doing it for us, which I've contacted 5, had 1 response. He is the guy who digs the graves for several cemeteries, including ours.
Yeah, and this is 1,400 feet of reworking the
Yes.
roads in the back that we've designated
we-
Is
already.
that this estimate you have here for Dale Williams?
Yes.
The only question I have, and I've just looked at this, I see it says he's talking about removing blacktop, cleaning up the roots, but he's replacing it with gravel. He's not going back with blacktop?
Okay, now think about this for just a moment. I don't mean to, this is just my opinion, and I may be completely wrong, and I don't mean to be critical in any respect. When you have trees along the roadway of the cemetery, they're going to cause the blacktop to raise up and to break apart and so forth. And it's very difficult to repair the blacktop. If you have a graveled road and there's a root budging up, you dig up a little bit, you cut the root, you fill it with the gravel. I think it was possibly they might have considered not ever paving the cemetery, instead having a nice gravel packed road And if there's a place that washes, if there's a slight hole here or there, it can easily be repaired and look nice and be smooth. We're always going, even though we get this part of the rough part of the cemetery repaired, in a year there'll be some other places that start cropping up underneath the black asphalt.
LB, as I understand it, though, when they get through with this, it's going to look almost identical to the other, just the gravel type roads that are back there that go, east-west mainly.
No, and
But-
he indicated that it would cost well over $100,000 to just replace all of the blacktop
Right.
gravel, not counting trying to come back in there. But if you come back in there and you put a nice hot mix, a couple inches thick, 6 months down the road, it's broke up.
Yeah.
So as I look at this and I see he lists the streets and how many feet, is it a matter of taking up the whole street of blacktop and making it gravel? Or is it going to go blacktop, then turn into gravel, then turn back into blacktop?
With this bid, Matt, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be taking up the rough areas, and you're going to have that. Now, there might be some sections that we could say, how much more would it cost to take up the whole section? But,
But
originally,
if you look here, LB, or Matt, all of us, you've got 350 feet, 120 feet, 140 feet. So it's not really choppy chop. These are
Right.
long stretches.
so there might be a couple places that are choppy.
There are, yeah.
But,
But what?
okay. At any rate,
The
there's
shortest
something
is
for us to
50 feet.
consider a little bit later. That's all I have. I'm sorry it took so long.
No, we need to discuss all this. So with this estimate, do you suggest we probably, let's go out there, now we know what these are, take a look with the map, just get some
Well,
positive feedback.
Can we discuss in detail more about that? Because I've got some pictures to show you.
Yes.
And you should have a map also just below your bid or in front of your bid so that you can identify using your bid where he's talking about. Okay? If you want to do it. You want to go ahead and finish the road deal?
I'm okay with that.
Sure.
Let's continue.
Sure,
Okay,
let's
if
just
you'll
get it
look-
done.
Thank you.
You got your bid, you got a map. This was, get mixed up here. Here's some pictures I'll just pass. I didn't make copies for everyone. This is one situation that this bid also includes. And as you can see, that particular new signpost is underwater. And so this bid also includes, look at it.
Yeah, when you sent the text
That's
message,
all done.
I did go look at all the areas that were marked out there.
And so it includes what would you call it, a culvert, a metal horn. He's going to dig the road out.
Yeah, like a small
Put it where it'll drain.
culvert. Yeah.
And the only alternative to that is to place enough soil to fill the low place to where it's even with the road, and then it's going to continue to wash the road anyway. So,
Right.
so that's included in the bid.
Okay.
We are allowing him to take up the asphalt and dump it in our leaf area back in the back, cover the leaves, rather than hauling it off.
What would it cost him to haul it off?
Well, whatever,
That
quite a
was-
bit more.
It was substantial according to an earlier conversation, but I don't have a
And
dollar
he's
amount.
going to,
Thousands,
he's going to take the,
thousands.
he's going
Yeah.
to take the asphalt off, he's going to dig down wherever the roots are and take them out. And we may end up with some places 8 inches of gravel, it just depends. So we're going to get a substantial gravel that will pack. It's a start, it's not going to be we can't afford to do everything, but there are places in the cemetery that's almost as bad as some of the streets in Eureka. You know what I mean?
Would you say that louder so people can hear your comment?
There are places in the cemetery that are worse than any of the streets in Eureka. And,
So, LB, this quote here is at $26,000. Can we talk about maybe some of the ones you've gotten or once we look at this?
I don't have it with me today, but the last one we got was 28.5 for 525 feet.
Yeah, that was last year.
And that's a guy who I finally found in Joplin, Missouri, that drove down here to give a bid. Could not get a local excavation group to give a bid.
Ah.
And I contacted 5, got 1 response this time. Evidently, they have enough work, they don't have to deal with it.
Find that hard to believe. So I think top of mind as we go forward in this project, we should think about funding this and how soon we may want to look into doing this, perhaps complete it at the end of the year. I know we've got through the sign project. This is another big project, but there could be monies available that we would want to discuss further.
Okay, all right. Because we have a limited pocketbook, and because as time continues, things are going to continue to increase in cost, and because we're going to continue having road issues in the future, it might be wise of us to try to do this as soon as we can by using some of our assets, along with, if we have enough, that in combination with operating funds that we have now, so as not to keep us from still being able to operate. In other words, if we have take a portion from our current operating funds and possibly a 1 CD.
That's what I'm talking about.
And then it's done. And it could possibly be done it could possibly be done in May. Whatever you all think is best.
I want to keep this alive, and I would like to entertain this. Let's kick this one down to next month, if it's agreeable. Or, well, I'd need a proposal, a motion for that, where we get a little more information, and then we'd have new signs and new roads by the end of the year. This would be 2 huge projects. I think it'd be wonderful.
Well, if that's the case, if we're looking at taking it down the road a ways, I'll contact Mr. Williams and see if he will honor his bid and for how long.
What do you all think? I mean, we've got to look at and approve this funding, which will involve 1 CD.
I mean, you know me, if the funding is there and we can approve, I say go with it.
Yeah.
I mean, waiting and waiting.
I agree.
Okay.
Like the sign started last year, and
Yeah.
it waited and waited and
A year
waited.
before.
The thing that if we look at the big picture, the cemetery, from a policy standpoint and from a structural thing, has really improved. We have some improvements that could be made in the workshop. We have our roads, and I can't think of much else. You know, I really can't.
Workshop improvement program back there.
Other than maintaining and getting prepared for the expansion, you know? And so I agree with you, Matt.
Yeah.
It's something that maybe we can get down the road, or maybe the commission can get down the road 5, 10 years without having to do any more road repairs. But by us doing what we're thinking about could possibly do, it sets the example that that's what needs to be done. And if all the cemetery gets a nice packed graveled road, then you might consider the paving. But I had an individual that's very prominent in the community told me, he said, I think the gravel is more appropriate for a historical cemetery.
Oh, I agree 100%. I mean, we are charged with preservation and caretaking of this community resource. And so I think we always need to be mindful about what happens there, that it is befitting the historical nature of the cemetery. And gravel certainly fits that bill better than blacktop does.
Well, and here's my thoughts too. If someone wants to come back years later and says, let's go back to blacktop, you have to have a good base for the
There you go.
blacktop anyway.
It's there.
So now you have it.
Because I think that the base is going to be at least 6 inches thick of gravel, and that's going to be good enough to put anything on. Plus, we're getting rid of those roots, and there'll be some more that come up, I'm sure, but
I mean, truthfully, this dollar amount for the amount of work that's being done seems very reasonable. I mean, that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
well, the thing that gives us a little bit of an edge is that Mr. Williams is concerned, or is in our cemetery a lot digging graves. So he has a little skin in the game.
No.
In other words, he has a little care for the cemetery. He's just not trying to
Yeah.
exploit.
Yeah. He's one of our locals, very familiar with it.
He'll
Elvin,
be,
you know what I'd like to see? Similar to what we did for the signs, I would love to see a map where the streets, show the
Say they're
the
colored or
black.
something?
Yeah, color, and then color or leave tan where you want to, what currently are either the
Well,
gravel already.
Highlight what's got gravel now and
It's gotta
highlight
be-
what you're going to make
That's what I want
gravel.
to see. So,
well,
so we
I
can look
gave
at
him
this.
one, and he gave me back, I gave him one with the 525, which I thought was sufficient. He gives us this bid back with 14-something. He spent about 3 hours out there the day that he came measuring the stuff himself.
Yeah.
So he got more distance than I did.
Yeah.
And if you take his bid,
These two, yeah,
take the map,
overlay.
and all you got to do is take a magic marker or a highlighter, and you can see what you're talking about.
Would you ask Hannah to draw that up for us, please? Or will you do it?
Well,
Will
the
you
reason
do
I
it?
say that is like it says Friedheim Street, 120 feet. Well, Friedheim is a very long street, so which 120
Well,
feet?
it's that, I can tell you that, if that's what you want to know.
Well, we just want to
It's
see
that
it on
section
the
right there
Between
between
48 and 11, I'm
yes,
sure.
it's that strip right there and around the curve.
And that's what I assumed, but I don't want to make assumptions.
And in the office is, again, one of the pegboard, nice big maps that you had half a dozen, just kidding, that we have the extras. Can we do that, LB? We love having fun on our commission, folks,
Absolutely, without question, Mr.
and I'll
Chairman.
help you do it.
Yeah.
Okay, and I believe that'll help because I would like us to see this and be able to vote on it next month. Okay, have the funding discussion, everything next month when we know that his bid is right. I'm all over this.
Also, last item, let's stay open to possibly, once that information and that image is available, that we might say, how much more for this or this or this?
And we have the funding requests also on our sign in the cemetery. Would it be appropriate to put the total amount up there and try to do a little?
We have an
Additional
estimated
fundraising.
amount up there now.
Yeah.
So far, we received 0 donations.
Okay,
Another thing to think about is the grant route. We applied for a grant and we were denied.
yeah,
On the 28.5 bid, we were denied 525 feet, 28.5.
yeah.
They said we could resubmit it last fall, and it wasn't done.
I think I have
That's one
that
area that
in
we
the
have got
paper.
to get more familiar with on how to process grants, because there's still a whole cemetery full of roads.
So I'm going to tell you how to do this with the grants. The guy that did our signs, his wife runs the library in Eureka Springs, and she does all of the grants for the libraries and stuff. I talked to him. She could probably help us with this.
Well, that sounds good. We also have an expert that might just do that one thing for us, and that might be Miss Glenna Booth. She's not on the commission anymore, but she has done all the grants for the cemetery as well. And so she's real familiar with that.
Well,
So she might help us as well.
They would know each other. If she's at the library, she would know Glenn anyway. But I would, do you know them, or I don't have a problem giving a phone call, or would you?
I've not met him, but I mean, I've not met her, but
Yeah.
of course, for the signs, I've met him.
Will you give me, his contact?
Sure.
And then
And I think you
will
have it on
follow
the
up and ask
invoices.
that.
I think you have his contact on the
Oh, yeah.
invoices
Okay, I do.
from the signs.
I do.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. We can make that note. Okay.
But I like doing big projects like this in the spring, right? Because whenever you start them, obviously, you make a little bit of a mess when you do it, and everything's growing in the spring, so it kind of fills back in.
That's good.
Looks a little better than waiting till the fall when everything's dying.
If it's okay, I'll contact Mr. Williams and tell him that we are in the process of gathering some more information, and we are going to probably make a decision on this in the May meeting.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then I can get in touch and follow up with the
Okay.
grant piece. LB, did this conclude your superintendent's
I
report?
hope so. Gotta go to the bathroom.
Okay, we're going to talk about the budget in a few minutes, though,
Oh, well, I've got
in the
an employee,
decorated-
but
in the application form.
I've got an application for an employee. We're gonna talk about that later, right, or now?
Where do I have this?
Is this a replacement?
Yes. Well, where is it?
Why don't we talk about that now? Is that all right? Let's do it.
Well, in your packet, see if you can find it, the application.
First name Chris, right?
No,
Okay.
I don't think it got put in there. Oh, be damn.
Oh. Keenan?
Yes.
Okay.
Where do we got?
I've got two of them.
Huh?
Yeah, okay.
Is it in your packet?
Yes, I was looking at the wrong form. You have this one?
So have you met this person?
No. All right, so we have our part-time employee leaving somewhere around the 1st of June. This particular employee worked for 4 years with our head groundskeeper, and he was a subordinate to our head groundskeeper for 4 years. So Mr. Taylor knows him. He's works at the post office part-time as a rural mail carrier, and he's wanting additional hours. The thing about our part-time situation is those hours are flexible as far as the days they work, so it'd be easy for him to work around his postal commitment. And that's the only applicant we've got so far. What we need to do is put an ad in the paper. If we could this week, we need to put an ad in the paper and advertise it. But that's the only applicant that I've come up with.
Well, do we need to go into a quick executive session to
Looks like we
discuss
do.
this person specifically?
like we do.
Because I think we've got some
I'd like to make a
feedback.
motion, Mr. Chairman, that we discuss our potential employment of a part-time groundskeeper to replace the one that's leaving.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Timothy, we're going to go ahead and you can turn that off. We'll have us a little meeting here. Righty, thank you. We're coming out of executive session with employee personnel discussion, and we have an application here for a volunteer to be on our commission, and we're going to forward this to the mayor with our approval. We have a job application form. We're going to put an ad in the newspaper. At the same time, we will take a look at this individual and be active to fulfill a position, hopefully in May timeframe. And that concludes the session summary. Okay, thank you. Now, LB, I believe we are through with your report and our discussions, correct?
Yes, sir.
Correct? Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Now, in my packet, I did not have that Sexton Office Manager report. Did you all have that in the packet? I just want to say that if you'll flip past the meeting minutes, we've got Hannah's section report for March, April in here. Okay.
Oh,
That we good? Okay, all right. Treasurer's report, we can move on with that quickly. You can see the summary of the checkbook, including the credit cards for the month. I have also attached the QuickBooks P&L and the balance sheet, which these are tracking about $500 off, and which is no different than last month. What I'd like to point out, I'll just say the opening balance, $25,239.95. The expenses, I went ahead and I kind of itemized them out in here just so you could see they're a little high. That's because the Ozark CNC, Kelly Monuments, and then about the $2,000 that were on the truck added in there.
May I have a question?
Yeah. Lean in and talk loud.
What about the remaining balance on the Ozark? We paid that, haven't we?
Yeah, that's in this month. Yeah. This is March.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we have. Yeah.
Okay.
And so if you'll take a look, see that Visa, David's Visa? Go to the very back, the last thing that I've attached back here. If you remember last month's, there was a zero balance in February. Visa had goofed up all of our bills. It was real strange. That's all part of the record that I passed out last month. So you see here, I've got a $313 credit. That's because they sent me two. I had one early, and it was pretty confusing. So that $424.94 actually went out to them. I get this bill the other day, and it's got that credit. LB, I want to give you my credit card, seriously, so you can charge things and all and get rid of this $313 credit. So we'll be expensing some things through my Visa account exactly the way you're doing it right now on your credit card.
This
And you
is
just
for
mark-
cemetery stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You're going to pay. So this is, all of these book records are totally open to the public. Yeah, so I do want to do that. Okay, you can see those two payments. You see that on 310 and 325? Two different bills came in. You see where that $300 credit is? So I'm going to give you my card, and so anything you want to use, let's get rid of this $300.
So that's your story, and you're sticking to it.
That's my story this month, and I'm sticking to it. So I wanted to point that out, so you see that expense of $424. Then credits, you can see here the plot sales has an asterisk. Here's another issue. We had the three sales. This is really not realized in our bank account, but I wanted to show it to you on this report because the funds from our new credit card capabilities in QuickBooks, there's an issue, and I mentioned this actually last month, of the credits are still sitting there and it's not gone out of QuickBooks into the bank account. So that's the 1869. There are plot sales, okay, but the funding's really not in there. But I thought it was important to show it to the public to discuss it like this here.
Well-
And Hannah, well, let me just comment. So Hannah and I actually were going to work on this earlier today, and then one of the commissioners, I think, was coming by at 1:30. I'm not sure who it was to take.
Yes, it was me.
Anyway, no, I just thought I'd have a good answer for us, and it didn't work out today. No big deal. And so she and I are going to, look back into it. I had asked her to check with our CPA on it as well the other day. So when I talked to her around 11:30 today, I was not able to get over there.
Well, something I didn't realize is that QuickBooks charges fees, will charge a fee potentially for assisting you in situations.
And we do not do that anymore. That came up in our treasurer's report 2 months ago when there was that $250 charge, and it was like, what is this? And she thought we were still under, some understanding of getting something free for them, and we're not.
Well, that's $1,869
So that's not
that should be in
happening
our bank account.
That's correct.
And they sent a thing that certified that we had been completely hooked up with the QuickBooks properly.
Yes, we have.
So evidently it's on their end, but we need to get that taken care of.
Absolutely. Yeah,
That's very worrisome.
it is. Thank you. So you can see the balance sheet here in the P&L. And I've got the quarterly P&L here also. The quarterly reports are due to City Hall. I attached this on here, and I'm going to get that on over to Kim this week. So that concludes the treasurer's report. Do we want to go into special events now? If we look on unfinished business, we actually have the cemetery tour. We also have Decoration Day. So I think we probably don't need to comment any further on special events. Is that a true statement?
Yeah, yeah. I submit we skip item 5, special events,
Okay.
under reports.
Yeah, let's move on then. Thanks. All right, unfinished business. Let's talk about the sign project. Matt, you want to give everyone an update that
We're pretty well done. I mean, if anybody goes out there and finds any posts or spots where they'd like, maybe an extra road sign or something like that, Dustin said just let him know. He's got the material. He can make another sign or two, no problem, and put it up.
yeah, I think, what?
Well, do you have any on order? I thought you had some on order.
I did, and he put them up.
He did?
Huh?
Okay.
I did, and he went out and put them up.
Oh, okay.
Are we current then with him, that last check I gave you the
Yes.
other day? Yeah, great.
Yep.
Yeah. What do you all think about certain of the heading down, down one of the streets where we decided, oh, we've got a street name here and we can just put a block here, and sometimes I think I'd like to see more street names on just the neat poles.
You can on some of them. One thing I did notice, though, you have to be careful where you put them, because a lot of the times, some of these streets are so short,
Yeah.
you'll put one and then it changes and it's like, wait a minute, which? So just,
Yeah.
I would say
Okay.
go out there and walk. If there's any that you think should be added, he'll add them. Just be careful.
Yeah.
Well, you have that one section out there where it's block 44, and just down from it is block 27 post. Across from 25. Across from the post sign that says 25 is block 27. Well, 25 runs all the way down through there to the corner from 44, from that road there.
Oh, 27, you mean?
Huh?
Here's the map.
27.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that distance along through here to
On
the,
Wilder,
yes.
I did have him put another sign on one of the posts for Wilder.
Well, there's no post there though, see?
On which
If
one?
you look where 44 is, just 27 and 14 are across from each other, and then there's a long strip down to the all the way to the intersection there, well, almost the intersection.
Right.
That you don't know what it is.
Gotcha.
But, I mean, I think we have some posts left over.
We do. We can always drop another post in with cement.
This
easy.
looks so good. It's hard to.
Such an improvement, and
Oh, it really
unbelievable.
is.
Such
It
an
really,
People,
really
you need to
is.
come out to the cemetery and look at our block and street signage. Pick up a free map, become a friend of the cemetery while you're out there, and say hey to Hannah and the rest of us that are out
this
there.
is my stuff.
It is.
Okay.
And
Thank
we didn't end up having to pay Kelly Monument to remove the old post, did we?
No, we didn't pay them to remove the old posts
Because I
at
took
all.
most of them out.
Yeah, you were out there on a Saturday. I noted that in my superintendent log. He was out there taking up posts, swinging them like they were, well, he was, man, he's just tossing them aside, no big deal. It was easy for him to get them out of there. But we didn't pay anything there. But what we forgot was those post holes needed to be filled.
Yeah.
And we got those done as well.
Oh, cool.
The big holes,
Yeah.
yeah, we got those filled.
Great.
It didn't work, okay.
Matt, job well done.
Yes, sir.
Incredible what you did. Absolutely. You
Okay,
drove it straight through. It couldn't be any better. Could not be any better. LB, there's this parking on the grass, this discussion. You had some comments. What was that about?
Okay. We're having people just park anywhere. We're having people bring their animals out there and allow them to do their business anywhere. We have sections where there's an actual shoulder made because of parking, no grass or anything on it. And this is, just think about this, do we need 2 lanes throughout the cemetery? Can we not get by and traverse the cemetery by having cars park on the edge of the road? Is this going to be so concentrated that we can't weave it around ourselves through the cemetery?
I think the difficult thing is that people do go out there to enjoy the cemetery. And I think legitimately, they're just trying to get off the road to be out of the way of other cars coming, right? They're just trying to be courteous. But they don't really know where to go, so they just pull off the roadside.
A lot of them have their favorite little spots where they go eat their lunch and get out and all. You can see the same people in the same areas.
Well-
so we're talking about a handful of folks that kind of clog things up.
Well, it's not so much. You have down there on where Block 17 is, there we have a rough place there in the road, so they're cutting that corner. A hitching post would maybe help prevent that. Maybe up there by the fountain where there's a strip along through there from the lamp toward the front gate, maybe a little sign that says, please park on pavement only or something. I don't know. Just something to think about because it's getting worse. It's not getting better.
We don't want to paint red stripes out there
No.
or make something really
No.
ridiculous. Would we have maybe have designated parking areas that look friendly for parking?
Well, I think you have a lot of those streets, you don't have enough space to make them wider. I mean,
Yeah.
they're really only 1 car length wide.
Right.
And so
A few places like that, yes, sir.
yeah, and a lot of people will drive down there and they want to stop and get out. And it's like, well, I don't want to block the road in case another car comes. So they just pull over into the grass, I guess.
Okay, maybe something we can,
But most times if you're
Come
parked
back
in the
speaking.
road, most times though, that if you're parked in the road, people would go on another road because they're not parked there for very long at a time.
Right.
And they'll go on another road and then they'll come back when you leave, they'll go down the road they want to go down.
Do you all think we have a problem that with this that we really need to address?
I don't think I'll park on the grass.
I don't know that there really is a way to address it. If we had a lot of extra space, it would be very easy to say, widen the roads out, but we just don't have.
Please park on the pavement when possible. maybe
Well,
three.
that's certainly
maybe-
an option.
Maybe
Sure.
3 signs throughout the cemetery, just to get their attention a little bit. Please park on the pavement when possible.
Please do not park on the grass.
Okay, when we're redoing these street things, is there areas where we could designate and have him go ahead and take another 4 to 6 feet to make some parking-friendly places?
Possibly.
Is there any space up by the office that, I know this might require a little dirt work or something, where we could put 4 or 5 parking spots, where if people came in, it would kind of be,
Where we all pull off there, or I pull around,
yeah,
make
but
that
make it
hard right turn?
a little more of a
Like
defined
a
parking
parking.
area.
Other
What
than
about out there in
pull.
Area 51?
We should do that.
What about out there in Area 51 where we have that dip? We could take a section along through there because that's a hard sell for plots anyway, in that dip.
Let's look at that.
And fill 8 spaces out there.
Let's look
Well,
at
that's a
that.
good idea, LB.
And it would take up, probably 10 plots of,
Yeah, we'll put a dog poop station there. I'm
And
serious.
as much
I'm
as
not
I hate
joking.
to say this,
Yeah.
right, I'm not talking about going in and repaving all the streets, but if you had like a square parking area and said, all right, we're going to designate that for parking, and we're going to blacktop that area.
we don't have to blacktop it, we just gravel it.
Well, I was going to say some way to put stripes on it,
Parking.
right? And put
We can put a new pole that says parking.
parking, yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
Fill it
Let's
with-
not-
fill
let-
it with
LB, I'll identify some areas with you, all right? And we'll get Nathan or whatever you're thinking,
Matt,
and then
Matt.
get back with you all to do this. What?
Maybe we could designate a Saturday morning or from 1 to 2 on Saturday afternoon or something and get as many of us out there as possible, have as much input as possible.
I'm fine with that.
Sure.
I just think having a clear, obvious
I'd
parking
love it.
spot, people would
Up
use
by the
it.
office where we all pull off there on the right anyway, we go down
There
about
by the
3 or
office
4.
and in
We make a
51.
right turn. I park in the same place all the
Well,
time.
and if people want to come in to meet at the office, it gives a clear parking area for them.
Absolutely.
There's really not any place out there by the office because there's so many unknown graves.
Okay, so what are we going to make a note here on this one for? We'll move on. You want to,
Someone
I
needs
just
to
put
come up
LB
with,
and David to
someone needs to
identify
come up with a
parking spaces.
suggestion about when we could get together to look at establishing some, a parking area.
okay.
Any Saturday or Sunday is good for me.
Okay,
Any Saturday or Sunday with him, same here.
Yep.
Yep.
yeah.
Okay, and this Saturday at 10 a.m.,
26th
let's
of
meet.
April.
Meet to discuss our
I'll be
street
there.
sign, additional street sign posts, street signs, and parking.
What time?
And do it 10.
10 o'clock.
10?
Do I have
Okay.
a second on that?
Yes, second.
All
I
right,
get
all
a
in
second.
favor?
Aye.
Okay, we'll be there at 10. Okay, let's move on here. It's 5:13, the Historic Cemetery Tour.
Okay, it's it's coming along. It starts May 3rd. We'll run every Saturday, May, June, and July at 11 a.m. We have a good group of volunteers. Everybody's got their costume. We are meeting on Monday, the 28th, for a final walkthrough of the route, so everyone knows where they're going. The headstones have all been cleaned and gussied up, so they look great. The script is in its final edit. I should have it by the end of this week so that I can get it laminated for volunteers. And I hope all of you at home who are listening and those of you here will come and support us and learn something about your cemetery. I think it's going to be a great event. Pretty excited about this.
Yeah. So we've got advertising coming out in the Eureka magazine. There'll be quarter-page ad. Make sure you look for that. We'll move ahead. We've got nice banners be out front of the cemetery, and we're investigating the place that's going to be out there by Inspiration Point. We'll have then the sandwich boards, and I really just need to go ahead and have her do those. We had a final edit. I discovered instead of county road, it said country road. I had them pull that out the other day and tighten up a little bit of the blank spacing, and gave all that approval. Scott's got it. It's going to be in the magazine, so we're ready just to go. I don't have the samples of that here for everybody, but we've worked on a
We've got some
separate
great
committee
rack cards, too, that are
the
getting
rack
put
cards
together.
are
Yeah.
incredible.
So,
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it sounds great, and thank you so much, Britta, for heading that up.
My
I do
pleasure.
have a couple of questions, though. On the first tour, where will people know to go in the cemetery to register for the tour? I would suggest we put a table someplace close to the entrance.
Well, if you had a designated parking spot, it could be right there.
Well, see, actually, I mean, we need to do that because people want to pay via credit card or
Right.
Yeah.
anyway.
Right.
If you have
out
a
near the
table
office.
and it says,
To the parking place.
has a wraparound thing on the table that says historic tour, and they can register there, and they can also park alongside the block 1 and 4 and so forth.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we have an old table in the workshop. I can get it painted up for us.
Great.
For you. I'll look and see if I can't get some kind of wraparound thing for it. I mean, I'll be glad to do that if you would. The other thing that I noticed, I have been in the process.
Well, wait a second, LB. Wait. Brita would want to weigh in on that to have an organizing spot near our starting
right,
place.
and the starting place actually is going to be close to the office, right in that area in the road, because the first stop on the tour is the carriage stone near the front where the flag is, because we're talking about the history of the cemetery and the original entrance of the cemetery and the carriage stone. So that's the first, that's the start.
What do you think about this cool table setup idea in the area where Hannah Park, there, or
Yes.
just, or
Sure.
what about down at the picnic table? Or
Well, if you come in the cemetery, I'm looking.
Well,
Where is this tour?
I think what I'm going
And if you
to,
take the first right, that leads right down to that spot you're talking about.
Right.
If you put the table right out in front of that first right, then all along through there, they can park where there's less congestion than some of those side roads down by the office.
oh, I see what you're saying,
Yeah,
sure.
where the
And
cars all stop out.
Yeah.
I will talk with the volunteer coordinator, too, about maybe having somebody posted at the entrance on those mornings
Good idea.
to direct people. Then we won't lose
If you
anybody.
do that, then it doesn't matter where it is.
Yeah.
The other thing I
I'll do
wanted to
that.
bring up is the grant possibilities. I have charged $181 for the 2 PA voice things. What do you call them? Headset
The microphones,
microphones. So I don't know what else has been charged, but someone needs to be keeping track of all the expenses so that we can try to recover our money in that grant with the CAPC.
I have,
David has that.
yeah.
Did you have my
What we've done.
181?
And what you have paid, you ordered those online, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have that.
Okay, just, that's it.
Yeah. Thank you. Absolutely.
That's
Okay.
that's
Good-
all I have about
good
that.
points.
Thanks.
Okay, let's move on then
I'll
to
get your
the
table and stuff.
2025 accounting issues. I think, LB, this is really part
Oh,
of
yes. Oh, yes.
number 3,
Okay.
number
If
3
you
and
look-
4.
If you look in that packet that I gave you,
Yeah.
the first thing that you see is the revised budget. And then behind it is the old budget.
This is our 3 and 4 that we're covering right now.
Right.
Off the
The
agenda.
revised budget shows that the 2025 projects are cemetery sign/truck and cemetery expansions. We're adding expansions, and just up above that, on the right-hand side, we're adding mileage. See it? The old budget
Yep.
had 2025 cemetery projects as cemetery sign/truck at 22.5. Okay? With what's been spent on the signpost to this date and what's been spent on the truck, it comes to the 15.9. So that allows us to still have $464 and some change in available for signpost expenses. And it allows us $6,000 for the cemetery expansion program, and it allows us $600 to cover the mileage. Her mileage is about $75 a quarter, or something like that. So anyway, so our bottom line remains the same, but we address two more expenditure areas, and we show actually what was spent, on the sign project and truck. So I think, Mr. Chairman, we need an approval to accept. I'd like to make a motion that we accept a revision to the 2025 budget, that it includes now mileage and cemetery expansion, and allows $464 and some change for still remaining designated for signpost project, and it doesn't change our bottom line.
That's it, right. Do I have a second?
I will second that motion.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you very much, LB.
Okay.
Any further comments about the native plants?
No, I think you all got that information. I have one copy left that I will give to LB since he's got twitchy fingers here, and you could.
I'll make copies and put in your mailbox.
Okay, good. Let's talk about the Decoration Day.
Okay, there's a sheet in your packet, says Decoration Day. We need, these are just suggestions now. See it right here? Decoration Day. It's in your packet of stuff I gave you. All right. You ready? Real quick.
Yep.
Welcome table 10 to 2 p.m., not 5. Hannah. American Legion Color Guard at 12 p.m. Talk with Tom today. There's a real possibility they will do what they did last year. Miss Carroll called me last Friday and said since I hadn't gotten back with her, they were not going to come. Well, I did get back with her, and I left her a voicemail. And we visited a little bit, so she said if I let her know tonight, they will be here. So that the horn group of Northwest Arkansas would be there to perform from 12 to 1. Okay? A historic tour will happen that day from 11 to 12. On the welcome table, I put those two names there because one is, might be interested in serving, and the other one has served in the past to cover for us if we're not available at that.
Yeah, I'm usually there.
I would suggest that we distribute like Friends of the Cemetery forms, maybe get some little handheld flags, encourage people to make donations, stop every car as they come in, maybe give them a map to the cemetery, whatever. Then commissioners and friends from 10 to 12 and 12 to 2 would man the table. Cemetery staff would assist, and the tour guides could have the table from 11 to 12 in costume and promote the tour completely. And this is just, okay. And I thought about us providing lunch for the American Legion Color people, the Horns people plus one guest, the tour guides to show a little appreciation, and that's it. No selling of anything. We get our chicken from Walmart, we get our potato salad, coleslaw from Walmart, and it's a done deal.
We budgeted last year, was it $250, I think, if I remember correctly.
Last year
200 or
we tried to think of it as a
Fundraiser.
fundraiser.
Yeah.
This year we want to try to gain some funds, but not think of it as a PR thing.
Yeah.
Everyone that comes through there while we're there is going to get some insights to the cemetery. So that's just my suggestion.
Well, last year I had invited the Historical Museum, and they set up with us to also promote voices, and they really enjoyed it, and I'd like to do that again.
Oh, I think we should.
Yeah. So, as a matter of fact, do you have the voices form to sign? I got a phone call the other day.
Voices formed, I've not gotten one.
Okay. All right. I'll follow up with you on that. Yeah. Okay.
So what are we wanting to do, add voices to,
Like last year at the
to the
welcome
welcome
table.
table? Yeah.
They brought out their table. We had everything set up. It was really a good thing.
sounds great.
Yeah. And then, now what about anything we want to do to set flags or whatever the day before with the Boy Scouts or the 4-H'ers?
Well, I talked with the 4-H lady, I think her last name is Wagner. It's just going to be difficult to do it that day, for them to have an activity outing.
That was like
We
the
don't
day
need-
before, or it was the Thursday or Friday, the day before, where we did all the hot dogs and,
Well, the thing is we had them pick up branches and stuff like that. We don't really have that need now.
good enough.
We don't have the need
Yeah,
to
yeah.
have a group come out and clean headstones. There's more to clean.
Yeah,
And we'll be doing from Block 13 on now.
that's,
You know.
okay.
But if I got an extra hose, 50 foot long, now we can reach 100 feet. It goes so much faster.
Oh, yeah.
And from the gate all the way back to 13 has been done in about 3 days.
Yeah, yeah.
That's pretty good.
So we don't need any of that.
Right
That's
now,
good.
we don't. We
No,
need
we
to think of an
don't. Right.
activity for 4-H to participate in, but I don't think it's decoration.
Well, so in the future, if like the DAR contacts us or the 4-H, where we kind of put a few together to do some of that volunteer cleaning in the back, we want to leave that opportunity open. It's just
course.
decoupled,
Of
from all
course.
of this.
Matt's wife is involved in DAR, and
Yeah.
Matt gave me a call, and we had it set up. We're going to have it set up, but then they realized it was Easter
Didn't
weekend.
realize it was Easter weekend. They
So-
said we're going to have to
yeah.
replay.
Anytime they want to come out and clean headstones, we'll get it set up.
Yeah, we can set it up, and we can reach out to 4-H or others if,
That's not really a 4-H project,
No, I
because we don't have enough for all those kids to be doing
yeah, okay.
at
yeah.
one time.
That's fine, yeah. Okay, good. I think we can move on then.
Well, I mean, is this a little format okay?
I think so.
I'll go ahead and contact Miss Carroll tonight and tell her, yes, we would like y'all to perform between 12 and 1, and I'll wait for Tom to get back with me. And then those are the two main things, plus the tour. We could have a coin expedition tour at the same time from like 1 to 2 if we wanted to. But, last year we didn't have anybody participate. We could have that available.
Yeah.
It's nothing to it.
We can encourage it, and they can go off on their own,
Yeah.
pay the,
But I probably will get a different banner because the one last year had all,
different, oh, that's
It's
right.
just kind of
Yeah, okay,
something we can use every year and have the flexibility of not having to get a different banner.
yeah. So let's entertain a motion to accept this as it is and add the historical
Add voices.
cemetery on, the voices to meet with us. Is that what we need to do? We can move right off of this.
I'll make a motion to accept LB's Decoration Day plan with the addition of the Voices table.
And add the voices.
Yes.
folks. Yeah, okay. All right, do I have a second?
Say it again.
Thank you very much.
Gave me chills.
Who's going to second that?
We've been meeting for too long now.
I know. Okay, Raytha seconded it. I heard her. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Thank you. Yeah. It's 5:30. Officers' election. Now, let's have a discussion about this.
Okay, now that we've had a discussion about this, I think at this time of year, I would like to make a motion that we have even further discussion. I just thought of something. Never mind. What do y'all think? Anybody like to be superintendent?
Would anybody
We'll
like
fix
to
you
be
up.
commissioner? Hang on, I'm leading this conversation. So, we need to bring on board another commissioner. You're going to be leaving.
I'm gone next month. I'm done, yes.
Oh,
So,
you're here next month.
I am, but
You'll be-
that's it.
our meeting next month.
I'm
Okay.
finished then, yeah.
Okay, we've got to bring in, what about,
Oh, no, she's not. I'm sorry. No, she made that really clear.
okay. Well,
We can have spaghetti every meeting.
well, here's the thing. I've been to, I'd like to take a little break and I'm not resigning. I'm going to be around, but I really wouldn't like to not be the, whatever it is I am.
Chairman.
The chairperson.
Who would, the main thing, I'm going to be completely quiet after I say this.
So,
Everyone that needs to be as active as they possibly can in a comfortable fashion, but we need to get more out of all of us, including myself. I've already apologized, including myself.
well,
Who would be interested?
if somebody, either of these two people to the right of me would,
Well, what does
The-
the chairman do,
the-
David? What's he do?
okay, here's the chair's current role, right? Because we really don't have a secretary in that, an official secretary, I've assumed those roles, and what it does, it's not a bad thing because you all have been taking good notes. Hannah types up the notes that's really nice on a form. Well, you know what the meeting form looks like, and it looks just like the agenda form. So we just scrub and change titles. I solicit a few things and add them in. You know, the date is always that Wednesday before the meeting. I get this stuff to Kim by that week. Hang on. Yeah, I'm looking
No,
at you too.
he's a pitcher,
We're
but
looking
in a
at you. Hey, we're looking at you.
Are you trying to convince me or you?
Oh, it's, you know, I'll step back because I'm close to doing that QuickBooks thing on the, yeah, she flinched on the treasure roll. And so,
Well, so you would be interested in trying to get our treasurers and bookkeeping situation
yeah, where
to
I
the
can then,
25th century.
within about 2 months, yeah, exactly, at least that long. And we're just real close. Yeah.
Well, I was chairman one time. I found that basically you try to get things organized for the meeting,
Yeah.
and you try to keep everyone informed about what's going on. And that's about it. That's about it.
Yeah.
With my husband's current health issues, I cannot do anything like that.
You know, Matt's got an incredible wife. She is so cool.
Yeah, she's great, and we both have full-time jobs. I don't need a third full-time job.
That was my head hitting
You're
the table.
not going to be able to resign. Sorry, David.
Well, I do
The
know
king
that you
does
will
not
have,
abdicate.
I do know that you will have a good commissioner in Mr. Ritholler, but I don't think you can ambush him with something like that.
Yeah.
At
I
his
tried
first-
ambushing you.
Yeah,
in your
and
first-
it didn't work,
It
did
did not
it?
work. Well, okay, you want to rock on with this for a few more months, and we'll get him on board, and,
And I say that only because, like you've seen my schedule, right?
No, I
I've
know, I
had meetings
know.
I've had to miss because of
terrible.
work and things like that, so.
yeah.
Well, make
Do
a
you
motion
need
that
to
we
leave the
maintain.
commission, Retha? Are you feeling like you can't participate because of your husband's situation?
I mean, I'm fine with doing this. Like
Secretary.
Yeah, I'm fine with doing this. I wasn't in the beginning, but I've come to accept this is something
Well,
I can do.
That's good.
The treasury thing,
Yeah, I'm cool with it.
I
It's
can't, David just
complicated.
it's too complicated. It's too much
Sure.
over my head. It's not what I was
took
told
me
it was in the
4 months
beginning.
to-
So there's no way I can do that.
Yeah,
And
that's
I
fine.
can't run the meetings like what he does because I don't know what's going to happen from day to day.
Sure.
So currently, we have Mr. David as chairman/treasurer, Retha as secretary, Matt as project head of projects,
Yeah.
Project manager.
project manager.
Here,
Is that
the
correct?
project
So you're going to
manager.
take on expansions,
It's fine.
and
Oh, good.
I'll do the superintendent thing, then what's left?
We'll bring someone else in.
Well, I'd like to make a motion, and we just abide by that dissemination, and then in the future, if we want to make a change, we can.
So, but what we need to do is elect her as the
Secretary.
secretary.
Yeah. So moved.
Okay. Well, here's the deal. She's officially the treasurer, too. So
Yeah.
y'all are going to have to make me
Gonna
the
have to-
treasurer.
Put him in the treasurer. So we just need to elect new officers. So,
Wait, here, let me see your pen. Don't you got to, let me see.
But you-
You got to make this official.
you're going to draw
With the
foreheads?
no, I mean, we need, because basically we're changing everything around. So we
Yeah.
just need to go
We-
ahead and
Okay.
make.
All
them-
right, let's do that.
Just do the
I'll do
officers'
two.
election.
She's got the new one. You're the same. And we really don't have a project manager office.
No,
but we're going to
But we can
Designate.
make
create one,
We're going to
exactly.
designate those responsibilities to Mr. Matt.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so let's start at the top and tell me what to put down here. And then
Make a motion, somebody. Y'all know what it's going to say.
High school
Matt, you know what it is.
responsibility.
I'll make a motion that the oh, somebody help me out here. This bird is talking to me in my other ear.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, my gosh.
Would you make your motion, your movement?
I'll make a motion that we get on with the election of officers. Ratha as secretary, David as treasurer.
Okay, hang on.
And
Chairman.
chair,
AOB.
and LB as
Superintendent.
as superintendent
Hang on.
with Matt
Project.
as project manager. I'm trying to give her time to write.
Senior project manager.
Oh, jeez. How about
your other
executive project manager?
Treasurer and chair.
And do I have a
And
second?
He'll be a superintendent. Matt.
I would like to second this motion.
All in favor?
Project manager.
Aye.
Okay, let's move on.
Hang on a minute, I'm still writing.
Okay. While we're waiting for her to get caught up, would you guys
Second by who?
look at not my packet?
LB.
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 And look at cremation.
Okay.
Service charges.
Yeah, okay, we have okay, on the new business, we
God.
have a cremation service fees chart.
All right, in the packet of information I gave you, there's a sheet there that says cremation service charges. This is what's happening. People are having us perform the cremation service, dig the hole, be there to help in any way, fill the hole and so forth. And they're coming out there and they're bringing these huge foot lockers.
What do you mean?
Well, the hole that we normally dig is 18 by 18 by 18.
Right.
It's an 18-inch
foot and a
square,
half.
18-inch deep,
Foot and a half.
okay?
What's that?
Yes.
We have had a couple in the last recent months come out with a foot locker. And it's very difficult to dig a large hole with a pick and shovel and a heavy rod.
Well, first off, if you got a foot locker, that's not the size of a cremains.
Well, hang on, it is. Yeah. The maximum size of a cremains can be 42 long, 42 wide,
And 18
because that would be
deep.
one cremains in a 4-foot plot.
Okay?
Okay, so this is what I want you to consider. We may not be able to do it today or not. If the family comes and does it themselves, they will be charged $25 for a registration fee. The minimum hole that they need to dig is 18 by 18 by 18.
Yeah.
The hole needs to be checked prior by the superintendent or someone, okay, to make sure it's proper. If our personnel does this, which involves digging the hole, cemetery personnel present during the interment, available to assist, fills the hole, tops the hole, applies grass, seed, and hay, it's $75 for an 18 by 18 by 18. It's $100 for a 20 by 20 by 20. It's $125 for 24 by 30 by 18. And hole sizes larger than that, we will possibly have to just, upon request, give them a price. And if it's too big, we're going to have to consult an excavation.
Okay, LB,
Okay.
all right. In the past, it was 18 by 18 by 18,
Yes,
and
sir.
I thought that we instructed people, yeah, you buy this, whatever, bring it out in an 18 by 18 or smaller, and we're going to put it a foot and a half deep.
Okay, Mr.
I didn't-
Danvers,
I didn't know
excuse me,
they had
my
options.
daddy's is in this. My daddy's in this. We just dig the hole bigger. What else are we going to do? No, you can't bury him today. Relatives have come from all over for this cremation service.
No, but
Straight
I
off
need
the
that they
bat, straight off the
They
straight
knew
off
this from the big.
right off the bat, I would not let people dig their own hole.
Right. I
Wouldn't
agree
be an
with you.
option.
I would agree with you.
That's not an option anywhere that I've ever heard of. It
No,
wouldn't-
I agree
wouldn't be
with
an
you.
option.
I'm with that.
Because then you have,
I disagree.
everybody has their own ideas
Yes.
as to what they want
Right.
to do. And it's
Right.
not uniform and it's not standard.
I don't know another cemetery in the country that lets people
No.
dig holes.
Well, this one does, or has. And I know, I don't disagree to disagree, but if I want to bury my wife,
You can be present while the
Let
hole is
me
dug, sir.
do it the way I want to, as long as I comply with the proper size hole.
You
Well,
can fill it when it's done. That's what most people do is they'll fill it.
yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think.
that's right,
I
they'll
think
fill
that
it. Yeah,
opens us up to all kinds of situations that
yeah,
we
this is freaky.
don't
Because
want.
usually the hole is already dug before the family gathers
Right,
out there
right.
for all of that.
We're having to deal with exceptions to the size of the container for the ashes. That's the issue. How you want to deal with it is up to y'all.
Well,
Well,
I
we-
think when
well-
when they initially make their inquiry into
Yes.
cremation and you
That's
How
share
big
this
of a
in-
container?
share this information.
That's what I
then
was saying.
you understand
This is
if
what
the
we
hole
do.
is 20 by 20 by 20, your container must be smaller than that, or this won't work for you. And if we have to dig a larger
Right, the
hole,
hole's going to be dug beforehand, so you
Yes.
need to give me the proper
Yes.
size so that when you get there the day
I
of,
think it's a communication
Well, you know,
issue.
this is something.
Then I think that our fee should be $100 because we have to take the 25 for registration and we're going to build in the 75 to dig a hole. It could be 18 by 18, it could be 20 by 20. I mean, just here's your hole, but not 48 by 48.
let me ask you a question. Can people dig their own hole for a standard burial?
No.
Then why should they be able to dig it for a
Well,
cremains burial?
well, that's obvious, Matt. The reason they don't do that is the hole
Not in Eureka
has to be
Springs.
very, very, 6 feet deep.
Right.
You know, that's the difference. As far as that goes. But the thing is like, okay, this is just me. I have empathy for people who lose. I have maybe too much empathy. I would like to see us be flexible to work with people that need a little larger hole to an extent.
Called an exception. We can put exception.
But this information needs to be given to us when they request a cremation, if they know it. It's just, I still think we should let people do their own cremation and just make sure we get the information we need to have about the person so we can put them in the directory, and a slight fee for that.
LB, we know.
That's just me.
Okay, well, here, we should, I think, continue to discuss this maybe next month, but we should think about maybe, we know who owns these cremation plots, and if we update our policy on this, whatever we decide, we can proactively contact these people that have already owned it and say, this is our new cremation burial policy
That's what,
here.
this is a start.
to
So
consider.
whatever
Yeah, I'm with it.
whatever y'all decide, we need to do that, and then we include that
Yeah,
adjusted
definitely.
policy in the packet that we give them.
Yeah, right, exactly. So
But, you know, it's.
can we work on this and bring it up next month
Well, y'all need to work on it.
as unfinished business?
Y'all got what, that's my input. Y'all get your input
I
together.
mean, I don't know what it costs to have, you know, if you were to do a standard funeral with, say, Nelson's, and you're going to have someone come out there and open up a grave, I don't know what it costs. It's not cheap
Yeah,
by any means.
No, it's not.
yeah.
And we can't dig huge holes out there. In some places, we can't even get 18 inches
Rock
deep.
Or roots, and you name
The
it.
reality is we can't get 18 inches
Yeah,
deep.
that's right.
We certainly can't bury a footlocker, which we were asked to do so last year.
So let's move this into
And
unfinished
that's why I
business.
think you need to have a professional digging the hole, because if you're going to bury a footlocker, you need a little excavator to dig that hole. You're not going to dig that by hand.
So if it's anything greater than 18 by 18 by 18, they need to,
We're not, okay.
we would give them the contact at Nelson's or whatever that has the grave digging services?
Well, so tell me how it works now. Let's say I contacted you and I wanted to have a standard funeral out there for somebody, right? You would refer me to whatever funeral home is handling it.
Nope.
Or I'm going to go to whatever funeral home handles it. But how do they get in touch with the cemetery to dig the grave?
Well, the funeral home dispatches their digger.
Okay,
The digger contacts me prior to the arriving.
right?
And I make sure that the site's been identified and that they're digging for a full-size burial.
Right.
Okay. That's how that works.
That's
So-
all.
And it also
Gotcha.
works the same way with a cremation, but the difference is we've given them the option in the past of doing it themselves. If you all decide you don't want to do it, that's fine. That's fine.
I just think letting someone do it themselves leaves a lot open to interpretation.
Again, if they do it themselves, the hole has to be checked. I don't know, when it comes to death, poor people, there's an old expression that I'm completely familiar with. Poor people have poor ways sometimes. And someone is in mourning and they want to dig their own hole because they don't have the money. Hard for me to say no. Y'all can.
These are exceptions, definitely. I don't know, we can identify exceptions, in here, but we have a process and a procedure, like anything else.
And exceptions to the rule.
Yeah, we will always
Well,
be
the problem
flexible.
is, in letting people dig it themselves, you end up with 4 and 5 burials in one plot,
Or
like
more.
what has happened before.
No. The problem is when they're told they can do that. The problem is when there's no one monitoring what's going on out there. We have that example out. We have 7 people in one plot out there right now. And we
At various
finally got that
depths.
to a stop. But at the same time, they dug their hole. They gave us, and I gave them a written statement, and they signed it, and they were going to inform all of their family members that we're not just going to come there. There have been, people sometimes take ashes, Matt, and just dump them.
Yeah.
Maybe on Grandpa's grave.
Dumping ground.
Instead of, I don't know how you take care of that. But think about this, and I'm not trying to be difficult. I'm just soft-hearted.
So I don't believe that's legal to do that.
Matt, we're not going to have our police station sitting out there. That's the
No,
problem.
I understand.
It may not be legal.
But I'm
So-
saying, but if you're saying you've seen that happen or
No,
someone
I've
has
not seen that happen. That happens.
It-
That's why there's 7 bodies in one place.
It
They were
definitely
unobserved,
happens.
you know. But we need to
let's-
come up with something that's going to keep us from having to be put in a situation where we have to dig a bigger hole than we should.
Right, right.
That's all I'm asking.
Okay.
Y'all structure
As
it
an
any way you want
exception.
to. It's not right for Nathan to dig the 18 by 18 by 18, and then here comes a footlocker. That's not right.
No,
You're right.
So we can make the hole a little bit bigger, charge a little bit more, but only to a certain extent. So if we know in advance what size the thing is, then we can say to them, well, you'll need to check with your funeral home about who they have to dig it if it's a big hole, or something like that. And there's a $20 to $5 fee minimum for, y'all figure it out.
Yeah.
I don't.
Okay, let's move this into
Okay.
unfinished business.
Okay.
Unfinished business.
Yeah, this is new business, so we're going to punt it up to
Well,
unfinished.
David, on the new business, the road improvements project we talked about, the cemetery expansion, it's just,
Well, we haven't, yeah,
we haven't.
yeah. But we talked about part-time grounds.
Yeah, we've already discussed that.
I don't think we have a loose end of needing volunteers for the tour. I think she has enough volunteers.
Well,
When-
wait,
when is
we-
the
wait,
first-
wait, we're in new business number 3, cemetery expansion project, and then we can pretty much wrap this up.
For the public? No.
LB.
Next Monday, the 28th.
Order in the court.
Sorry.
So wait, we're on the number 3 cemetery expansion project because we've done that part-time groundskeeper and then this volunteer. So would you like to, let's talk about the expansion project.
Okay, we have
This is
established
future.
in our budget $6,000 for this project. Matt would be given the latitude to come up with a plan. Maybe we need a new survey, maybe to try to designate where the best and most economical places to try to expand the cemetery would be. You would look within the cemetery for like alleys that
fringes,
could possibly be used, and then you'd look at the perimeter as well. And it would be nice if we could get a preliminary review of this in, say, 3-4 months, or at least by November, so that we can possibly start making some plans for next year.
Okay.
And so you've got a little bit of coin that you can use to do what you need to do from that standpoint. And what we don't spend, I would hope that we would carry it over each year when we get, because it's going to be quite costly. You checking into people who, vendors who cut wood and sell it. What's a rick of wood now, $150?
Sheesh, it's crazy.
You could let people come in there and cut the trees down and then have, later on have the dozer come by. You know what I mean? So just try
Matt,
to come up with a
yeah,
fundraising plan.
this is that real cool area. I'll walk it with you,
Yeah,
whatever you want to do.
when we're out there Saturday.
Yeah, okay, yeah, let's do. We'll look over the edge and all, because, this up here on the other side of the country road
Thank you for
is doable, and that's a longer term, but this is all this low-hanging fruit.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just stupid.
Okay, so the note there will be that Matt will take the role as a project manager for the expansion project, and we'll look at something in the fall.
Yeah.
Is that a good note? Okay. Part-time groundkeeper, we did discuss it. Now, okay, loose ends. Okay. Britta.
I don't think we need any loose ends this evening. I think she has all the volunteers she needs for the project. Okay?
Yeah, that's awesome. And they're just great people, too.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
enjoy
good
the
group of
meetings and-
people.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, thank you. Any announcements? Of course, commemorative coins are always available. We'll have a way to have those out at Memorial Day, displayed out on the tables in certain places, and every Saturday at the tours and, these types of things.
We covered so much.
You have any other comments on that, LB? I think we're ready to summarize today's meeting, 5:54.
This is so,
Thoughts?
I think we're good.
Yeah, I think we're good. Do you want to rattle off what you think you captured there?
I didn't capture a whole lot.
Well,
Call to order by David, Monday, 4:21. Roll call, Britta, LB, Matt, Ratha, and David.
Yeah.
Motion made by LB to accept the minutes, second by Britta. Approval of agenda by LB, second by Britta. Public comments, none. Head groundskeeper, report by LB. Motion made by Britta to explore the water issue, second by Ratha. Follow up on grant.
and that was, yeah, for the,
That was a note for you. Follow up on the grant via, or info via sign man invoice
Yeah, yeah.
on the water issue. Okay.
in roads and, yeah.
The Sexton report is in the reports. The superintendent report is in the reports. The treasurer report was given by David. It's in the report. No special events. Sign project, Matt gave an update. Signs are up. David and LB to identify parking spaces. And then we made a motion by LB.
Well, you know what, hang on, we can do that Saturday at 10.
That's what
Saturday.
I'm getting
Oh,
ready.
sorry, yeah, okay.
Motion made by LB to meet at cemetery to discuss 10:26, 10 a.m., second by Britta. So that's to identify the parking spaces. Historic cemetery tour, a report by Britta was given. 2025 accounting issues combined with number 4. A motion was made by LB to accept the estimated budget for 2025, second by Britta.
Revised budget.
What?
Should be revised budget.
Revised budget? Well, I said to accept estimated budget, revised budget. Okay. Decoration Day activities.
Native plants, it was.
Okay, native plants by Master Gardener's Project, it's included in here. Motion for the Decoration Day ideas, it's included in the packet. Motion was made by Britta, second by Ratha to accept the activities. Officers election, Ratha as secretary, David as treasurer and chair, LB as superintendent, Matt as project manager.
Senior project manager.
Yes. Yes.
Second by LB. Okay, cremation service fees, discussion, carry over to next month. Road improvement project, we discussed it earlier in the meeting. Cemetery expansion, discussion by all. Matt will take on the project and we'll discuss in the fall. Part-time groundskeeper, we went into executive session earlier to discuss. And we don't need anyone to volunteer for the fundraiser at this time. She's got all the volunteers she needs.
Awesome.
Did we have anything in there about placing an ad for the groundskeeper position?
It's in there, we came out of that, we were going to interview at the same
Okay,
time. I
so-
put an
We're
ad.
going to have a legacy.
Put that down here under,
David
hope
will
it continues
place an
that.
ad put
where is it even at?
One thing you should,
for the,
we're not
Part-time groundskeeper position.
yeah.
trying to encourage someone to take the
Oh,
lead.
yeah, right.
Because someone's going to have to act on that anyway,
Okay,
right?
Yeah.
we'll have agenda setting for the May the 19th meeting, and I'll get in touch with y'all that week of the 14th for items to be added. And I am ready to adjourn this. I would accept a motion.
I make a motion to adjourn today's meeting.
You want to stick around, or someone want to second that?
We're good. Second.
All in favor? Aye. Aye. Meeting.